Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Yo, you know we back at it. We got week 14 in the books. We about to get to it. We got a host, one of y'all favorites coming back in. You know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is. I'm about to surprise him though. It's your boy Nick. He about to come back in here. He better be on this. He better be ready for this. You know what I'm saying? If he not, then he not. Just like the Russian said, if he dies, he dies. What's going on, family? I see you out there. Listen, man, why you still wearing that Dolphins hat, man? I respect it actually. You know what? Under further review, I respect it.
We in
I,
the hunt.
y'all not in no damn hunt.
We in the hunt, baby.
Y'all not
Yeah,
in no
in
damn
the
hunt.
hunt.
Um, Nick, man, welcome back, brother. How you doing, man? It's always good to see you, man.
Good to
You
be
always put a
back,
smile on
man.
my face.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of
How you
course.
doing?
Hold on, before we get started, I wanted to tell you this. I thought you would get a kick out of this. So I was looking at some early reviews of the draft, this upcoming draft for next year. I'm starting early on that. And Cam Ward, the quarterback, for Miami,
Yep,
he's about to be a top 5 pick.
easily.
When he was in high school, take a wild guess what offense he ran when he was in high school.
Hmm.
I swear,
No
he ran the wing
way.
T, yo.
Oh,
Nick, he
no.
ran the wing T.
Oh, poor guy. That's a good bit of information.
And his coach is here. He said, "Listen, if you want to win, you run that wing T, okay?" I thought you would like that.
That's
Okay.
good. It's good stuff.
Okay. So week 14 of the books, we had a bunch of games. Uh, so basically, what we're gonna go over today. We're gonna go over the week 14 games, the week 15 games, and then I'm curious to hear your playoff predictions and stuff. I already gave mine, so I'll refresh you on what I said. But I do mine early, just to kind of show y'all I know what I'm talking about here. You know what I'm saying?
Quick,
Um,
quick update. Oh, sorry, cut you off. Quick update on where we were at in the beginning of the season. Son, I don't know football. None of my picks from earlier in the season, none of them were correct.
I tried
I
to
think I
say
had
that's
the
why the show is
only,
named this.
the only thing I got correct was the fact that the Jets would not win the division nor get in the playoffs.
I was wrong on that. I was wrong on that. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
Listen,
about the
listen,
only thing I was right on.
listen. First of all, you ain't got to feel bad, bro. You watch on TV, you hear the nonsense that they be talking about. I'm
Mm,
like, from these people who never even played football, and we got to sit here and listen to them give what they think is smart. And I'm like, this is the most asinine thoughts I ever heard of in my life. I digress.
that might have been my problem right there is listening to those analysts before I gave my own opinion.
You was listening to Skip Bayless before he got fired, huh? He was like, Skip know what he talking about. They ain't no football, boy. All right, so we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the Detroit Lions beating the Green Bay Packers on Thursday, which was a really good Thursday night game. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Or was.
So on that, Jordan Love was 12 of 20, 206 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Josh Jacobs, 18 carries for 66 yards and three touchdowns. Christian Watson had four receptions for 114 yards, and Tucker Kraft actually had their receiving touchdown. So with the Lions, Jared Goff, he was 32 of 41, 283 yards, three touchdowns, and a pick. David Montgomery, he got 14 carries for 51 yards and one touchdown. And Jameson Williams led them receiving with five receptions for 80 yards. Now I want to say something. Now, for people who forget what happened in this game, they were in field goal range, and the coach decided let's go for it on fourth down. So it worked out. I just want to make sure people knew that that's what happened, and there's been a big controversy around that. But tell me, what do you think about this game? Where are they at right now? Talk to me.
I'll tell you what, the Lions are a complete football team. Um, if they end up getting that DM back, the defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson,
Hmm.
correct? If they end up getting him back, that pass rush is going to be all they need
I don't
to
know if they're getting
solidify
Aiden.
that defense.
I don't know. I don't think they're getting Aiden. I mean, his leg was like this,
Yeah, but I thought there was talks about him coming back sometime in the playoffs. I could be wrong.
I'd be shocked. He need. I don't think he need to do that. That looked bad. He needs some months off.
So as long as that defense can hold up a little bit, that offense just fires on all cylinders. I mean,
Yes.
they're not even using the tight end anymore. Sorry, it's a little late, and the names are just buzzing past my head. But they're a full complete football team, especially that offense and the two headed backfield that they got going on. David Montgomery, a guy who in Chicago was an afterthought, nothing
Hmm.
special. Looks like he's been reborn or something. He's just a monster. He really does his thing. And then you got, you know,
Jameer Gibbs.
thank you, Jameer Gibbs, who's
I said
just
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Don't worry.
thanks, man. But he's just a guy that can do it all, man. From between the tackles, catch out of the backfield. I'm just really impressed by this Lions football team, and definitely a favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. What I like about the Lions, man, they're all playing roles. Like this is like a complete team situation. Like like they bringing in David Montgomery, it was like okay, we didn't ask him to be anything great. We asked him to be the different kind of back than the one we're drafting in the first round, and it took all the pressure off of that guy. And I think this is a lot of complimentary football. You know what I mean? Jared Goff is looking great in this kind of offense when you can say you don't have to save us. Jared Goff can say, "All right, cool. We got these wide receivers. They can get open in their way. One guy can break you down with route running. Another guy is more of a speed guy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We're getting compliment. We're getting pieces to do a lot of things. You know what I mean? I'm very impressed with what I'm looking at with the Lions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same as the backfield, right? Them wide receivers have their specialty, their niche in that offense, and that's what they do best. Amon St. Brown can go over the middle. He can go deep, but he's a possession guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Third
Mm-hmm.
down, you're looking for him. And then Jameson Williams just brings that over the top type of football. So
You know, and it just
yeah.
clicked on me this week, literally this week. I was trying to think, who does Amon St. Brown remind me of? And I'm bringing it back home to the Colts. Reggie Wayne. That's
Hmm,
who that guy reminds me of. And I'm like, yup, that's him. That kind of guy over the middle, route run will kill you. He can beat you over the top, but that ain't his game. But he can do it
right.
every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that precision route running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so real quick, just give me a little synopsis. What do you think about the Packers? You know what I mean? Now, I think they lost the division at this point. If they didn't, it's pretty much wrapped up. What do you think the Packers are, like in terms of their team?
Well, I think they'll still get into the playoffs, right? Um, that they have a good run game. They're still a young football team. I think them wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Reed has to get more involved in that offense somehow. I mean, the past 4 weeks, I think he's under he's definitely under 50 yards receiving each of the last 4 weeks. So if they don't find a way to make him more to get him the ball and create more explosive plays, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have some issues.
Yeah, I made a comparison last week. For me, in my eyes, from what I'm seeing about Jordan Love, I like Jordan Love in games where he has to throw the ball between like 20 and 30 times, but not really more than that. And who he reminds me of, actually, there's three quarterbacks that remind me of pretty much the same kind of guy, and the same formula works for them. Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson. For me, when their pass attempts are in that range and their team is allowing them to not have to make certain throws, they usually overperform and they get a little bit more dynamic in those kind of situations. And I think even when you look at all three of them when they have to throw the ball like 38 times, usually starts the play starts to slip a little bit. So That's just what it is.
Hmm. Yeah, the other two that you mentioned there, Hurts and Lamar Jackson, they have their legs to fall back on.
Jordan Love does
That's
too.
not
Jordan
that's
Love
not
does.
something I see. Yeah, but that's not something I see him doing very often. That's not. They're not creating plays, running plays for him. They're not designed running plays that they do for
Fair,
Hurt. And,
fair. That's a fair point. That's a fair
you
point.
know,
They're not designing run plays just for
no,
him. No,
no. So
but no, that was good. You see what I'm saying? See, I knew you was good for something. No, I'm just playing.
everyone's.
All right. Let me go move on to the next game. We're gonna go into this Vikings spanking the Falcons.
Mm,
Uh they beat the Falcons 42-21. Was this in Atlanta? I think it was in Atlanta. No, it was in Minnesota. So they won 42-21. Uh and the Falcons, Kirk Cousins was 23 37, 344 yards, no touchdowns, and two picks. Bijan Robinson had 22 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And Tyler Algier had 63 yards rushing and also had a rushing touchdown. And Darnell Mooney actually had six receptions for 142 yards. He went off.
mm.
And Ray McLeod also had eight receptions for 98 yards. And Drake London had five receptions for 70 yards. It's a shame what happened here. Sam Darnold on the Vikings, he was 22 of 28. He had a career game right here. 347 yards, five touchdowns, no picks. Aaron Jones had 13 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison had eight receptions, 133 yards, three touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had seven receptions for 132 yards and two touchdowns. And yeah, man, tell me what you thought about this. I really do have something to say about both of these
Yeah,
teams, but go ahead.
yeah, I would agree. Who you want to start with? Falcons. We'll
Start
start
with
with
the
the Falcons.
Falcons. You started there. Start with the Falcons.
All right, we'll start with the Falcons. Um, I think the biggest thing here for me is the step back, the drop in performance by Kirk Cousins. I thought he would come into this offense with those weapons, with a great run game, and have a similar year as he was in Minnesota. But that just goes to show the coaching that takes place in Minnesota and the offensive play calls that they draw up over there.
Mhm.
Um, the positive thing for the Falcons is Bijan has finally been unlocked, right? The guy is finally getting the carries he deserves. He's finally putting up the yards and the touchdowns. So that's one of the positives I can see for the Falcons. But as far as their season goes, it's a wash.
Yeah, so with the Falcons, man, like you realize 3 weeks ago they had a three-game lead in this division, and now they dropped the last three straight, and now they're in the ninth seed, and Washington has a game lead on them, and their schedule looks real easy. Um, Actually, Washington and the Rams are also ahead of them now too. I think Kirk Cousins is gonna have to give his chain back. They gave him a chain. See, they gave him one of these, and they said we're gonna have to take that back now, player. Uh, yeah, I mean the Falcons did some Falcon things. You know what I mean? They all year they looked like they beat the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. They beat the Eagles, so
Yeah,
they showed they could beat a team, a top tier team, and then they plummet. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't have much to say about them. I mean, we'll wait and see because I'm still not a believer in Tampa Bay, but they are winning their division right now. But only one of them is going to get into the playoffs, so we'll see how
right.
they get down the stretch.
Right. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's been put in unless he's playing Tampa Bay, those games he's looked phenomenal. But you know, he's been put in some really great spots to perform, and he's not showing up. So I think he's going to be the key to whether or not they win that division. And right now, it doesn't look good for them.
Now, their only saving grace is that they actually have the Commanders on their schedule. If they want to save their season, they're going to have to beat them. They pretty much got to run the table. You know what I mean? They
Mm-hmm.
pretty much have to run the table. So we'll see how that go.
Yeah,
Um,
and the way the Rams have looked. as of late. You know,
We gonna get there. We gonna get there.
yeah,
In
can't
terms of,
have them
like
on
I'll say this,
schedule.
in terms of the Vikings, listen, if every single time Sam Darnold plays like this, if he plays like this, they can win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Great.
this was his career game, and it actually goes into a conversation that I've been having. And one thing that I don't like, so with like these quarterbacks, I was told that these quarterbacks are coming into the NFL more ready to be starting quarterbacks than quarterbacks of like when we grew up and stuff like that. And I think that's unfair to look at it like a 20-year-old and say, I need you to save this franchise. So they done that. So the examples that I'm using is like Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson right now, Caleb Williams. I'm like, this is way too much on them to look at them and say, save me. And you was just at frat parties like 8 months ago. You know? They're not, I don't think that's ready. But Sam Darnold is showing the league that if you actually develop a quarterback, Sam Darnold actually wasn't bad, you know? He needed somebody to believe in him, and he needed somebody to get some bad tendencies out of him. And when they play like this, shit, like shit. But
Mm.
go ahead, tell me what you think about the Vikings.
Yeah, well, Sam Darnold, right? He came into the league and it was expected to do things. He was a I don't know where he was drafted, but I believe he was top 10. He was and
Like, no, he was like a top four pick. He was a top five pick,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
I think he went
yeah.
like four,
You
three,
go
three.
to a franchise like the Jets and you're doomed from the start, right?
And save
That's
me. And you wanted to who saved Aaron Rodgers can't save the Jets. You think Sam Darnold gonna save him and he 20? You
no
bugging. You out your mind.
crazy, crazy, right? So yeah, so Tom Brady has touched on the development of quarterbacks, and he's had some pretty good things to say about it, as far as them in the past have used to. I don't know whether he said it in college they were developing them better, or they would come in the league and at least get those 2 to 3 years to develop behind somebody like he did with Bledsoe. And then when it's time for your turn to come in, you've got that experience of watching and learning, and now it's your time, and that's just not happening in the league today. And you're seeing quarterbacks develop in game, and it's destroying some of their careers.
Like, like fuck it's not happening. They're saying either you have the ability to save this franchise right now. I'm gonna give you 3 years to be able to save this franchise. If you can't do that, I'm moving off of you. And I'm like, yo,
All
you
those teams are looking. All those teams are looking to get it done on that rookie contract.
remember I said that. See, I knew you was listening. I knew you was listening. I knew you was
With
listening.
with
Then I
what?
said that. I said that. I said
Oh,
all the Super Bowl winning quarterback, except for the dynasties, except for the greats, right? All of the quarterbacks that are winning Super Bowls are on their rookie contract, or they're already got paid the bulk of their money, and this contract that they have on this team is less. Point being,
mm-hmm.
I understand, like, listen, I understand the thought process, but save me? Like, this ain't, like, save me, bro. Like, even Russell Wilson, when he won a Super Bowl, right? He came in the third round. They didn't expect anything. They protected him. Richard Sherman says it all the time. He got called a hater because of what he says. Like, I'm not hating on him, but like, he, we didn't win because Russell Wilson was doing this
No, they had a top tier defense, and they had and Marshawn Lynch, a running game.
and a smart ass coach, and they
Right.
said, okay, don't mess it up. That is a
Play.
formula I'm like a quarterback can thrive in at 20. Don't
Yep.
mess it up. Okay.
Yep. Design run plays, play action. And look at Russell Wilson now. That's where he's excelling in the
Hello.
same sort of offense, right?
Hello.
Same sort of offense.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, the only other thing I want to touch on with the Vikings is it looks like they got their two-headed monster back, right? With Addison. Addison's turned it on.
Yeah.
Seems to be healthy now.
Hmm.
Justin Jefferson is always going to be that top tier best receiver in the league. If you ask me, it don't matter who's throwing on the ball, he's going to get his. So you got Addison now performing. Uh, as they double up on Jefferson. So it looks like they got that two-headed
Yeah,
monster.
man. Yeah, I mean, I just want to say shout out to Aaron Donald, man.
A great
I mean,
defense,
not Aaron
right?
Donald, excuse me. I just now called him Aaron Donald. Sam Darnold. Shout out to Sam Darnold, man.
And
Yeah,
doing his
man.
thing.
All right, let's move on to that Seahawks Cardinals game. So the Seahawks looking good right now, man.
All right.
Uh they
I don't
won
want
30
to
to
look back.
18, putting a little bit of a stranglehold on their NFC West situation. Kyler Murray, he was 25 of 38, 259 yards, two touchdowns, two picks. James Conner, he had 18 carries for 90 yards, no rushing touchdowns. Trey McBride led them receiving with seven receptions for 70 yards, no touchdowns, but Michael Wilson had a receiving touchdown, and so did James Conner. James Conner actually had a pretty good game. All right, Geno Smith, he was 24 of 30 for 233 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Zach Charbonnet, he had 22 carries, 134 yards, two touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba, five receptions, 82 yards, one touchdown. He led them receiving. Uh, Actually, I'm gonna use this opportunity to double down on the thing we just said. Geno Smith is another example of a quarterback drafted high. Save my franchise. If you can't do it, then you're trash. And now he's going, and now he has. They're saying it's like a resurgence. Geno said, I remember Geno said
What
he said it
what
wrote me off. That's all right because I ain't right back. You see what I'm
what
saying?
ah,
You
like
see
that.
what I'm saying?
Like
So
that. Who is it? Who's the team that drafted him?
the Jets
The
again.
New York Jets.
Jets again. Yes.
Another Jets quarterback.
All right, but yeah. So talk to me about this. Talk to me about.
Yeah, hey, Seahawks looking good. Finally getting it together. Putting some wins back to back. Uh, yeah, JSN is coming in to himself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would be a factor this year.
He's the
And
number
now
one now.
it's
He's the
coming
number
to
one now. He
fruition.
took that.
It's coming to fruition now. Slow start, but it seemed like he just needed DK Metcalf to get hurt for a couple games so that he was the number one guy.
He needed the
Build up,
opportunity. He needed
yeah,
the
he needed the
opportunity.
opportunity, build his confidence, and now he's flourishing in that role.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them. Um, Zach Charbonnet, another guy, not as good as Kenneth Walker, but given the
Damn
opportunity, he's going to
good.
step in there and he's
Damn
going to
good.
perform. Same within the beginning of the season. Kenneth Walker was hurt first couple games. Zach Charbonnet stepped in. They didn't miss a beat. So happy for the Seahawks. They're doing their thing. I'm happy for Geno Smith.
Okay, and just so I'll just updating it. So the Seahawks are 8-5, and the Rams are 7-6. So that's pretty much
Seahawks. Seahawks are currently in.
the Seahawks are, yeah, they're currently in. The Rams right now are currently out.
Right.
Um, so we'll see about that. Did I mess up?
Mm.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's move on to the next game.
Well, no, the Rams would be first wild card, right?
No, so right now the Rams are in the eighth seed. Right now the last wild card is the Commanders.
Ah, right. I see. Okay. Yeah, and then uh, just to touch on the Cardinals real quick. This team, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. and they're just not using them correctly, and I think for the Cardinals, it always comes back to the inconsistency of Kyler Murray.
I'm not mad at where the Cardinals are right now. I think they definitely overachieved. I've never when they beat like it sent shockwaves through the NFL when they beat the 49ers. Now in retrospect it doesn't look too great, and I actually kind of saw that coming in that week. Um, but they're rebuilding. They have a lot of holes. So no, I don't have much to say about them. I was more shocked that they was in first place for this long. To be honest with you. So it is what it is with them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna slip this one in there, and I know this wasn't a part of initially what we were going to talk about, but it was just too good of a game. So let's talk about the Bills and the Rams. So crazy game.
Easy.
The Rams won 44-42. Was that was in Buffalo, right?
Nah, no, no.
Okay, in LA. All right. So Josh Allen, he was 22 of 37, 342 yards, three touchdowns, and no picks. Then he led them
That
in rushing.
solidify MVP. That solidify
I've been
MVP.
telling, didn't I say that to you in the summer? I said Josh Allen. Everybody was telling me how they rebuilding, they lost their wide receiver. I said he gonna win the MVP this year. Watch. Because he also led them in rushing, with 10 carries for 82 yards and three touchdowns. Okay, Josh Allen is a monster.
Unreal.
Khalil Shakir, he had five receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper had six receptions for 95 yards and a touch. Oh, no touchdowns. Excuse me. Mac Hollins had a receiving touchdown, and so did Ty Johnson. All right, let's get to the Rams. Matthew Stafford, he was 23 of 30 for 320 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams, he had 29 carries, 87 yards, and two touchdowns. Puka Nacua also had a rushing touchdown. Then he led him in receiving with 12 receptions for 162 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp had five receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown. What were you thinking when this game was going on?
Where do you start, man? Just back and forth nature of this football game was
What
exciting.
was this?
Uh,
This was the craziest
I
game.
Josh Allen solidifies MVP. Man, doing it every single way you can as a quarterback. Shit. I had a feeling the Rams might win this game
You
just
did. Interested. Because I didn't put it on
because
the
of the
list
nature of
because I kind
last
of thought the
week
Rams.
and yeah,
Okay, cool. That's what's up. Talk to me. Keep talking.
I think the Rams play up to their competition. So or play down to they play at the level of their
Valid.
competition, I should
Valid.
say.
Valid.
The
Valid.
Rams, you got two great wide receivers in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua is just he's another unbelievable player. But
Mhm.
yeah, and the Bills last week playing in that snow game in Buffalo, having to travel to LA, you know, I had I didn't think it would be that high scoring of a game and that close and back and forth like that. But um, you know, wow. What else can you
So,
say about this game? But wow.
so my thought, yo, I'm gonna be real with you. I think the Rams are an inconvenient truth, man. The NFC don't want the Rams to get in the playoffs. This is the second time this season where I was like, all right, the Rams are they're kind of done now. Just watching how things have happened. First, when everybody was hurt, and then they went through that slide, and literally both of their wide receivers and running back were all hurt. Offensive lineman hurt. It was crazy. They came back, and then um the Seahawks like taking more of the division, having teams. You know what I mean? I thought the Rams were done, and this is the second time I'm looking at this and I'm saying, not only are they not done, they got something in their bag that can upset somebody. Somebody who you think
Mm-hmm.
if I'm calling if they get into the playoffs, the Rams are gonna ruin somebody's playoff predictions. I can see that one coming. Um,
I can
yeah,
see that too.
but yeah, real simple. Like Josh Allen, MVP. I've been telling you that since like August. Like he's amazing. He's amazing. He got hit, and it's just like him and Lamar. There's only but one thing he has to prove. That's Mahomes. Okay, the Josh Allen got one thing he got to prove to validate this. Mahomes, and we'll see about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All right.
it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't be a problem. They're fine. They're gelling. This
Mm-hmm.
team, this Bills team, who don't have the superstar players on the outside. They have Josh Allen. He's the focal point of that offense.
Mm-hmm.
They're finally starting to gel.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm loving what I'm
I
seeing.
think the Chiefs caught the Bills at the right time. If they play this week, if they played last week, the Bills, I think they give it to the Chiefs.
All right. Well, let's get to this last game. Speaking of said Chiefs, They won another tight one, 1917. They beat the Chargers and won their division. Let's get into some stats. Justin Herbert was 21 of 30, 213 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Gus Edwards, he only had 36 yards rushing, but he had a rushing touchdown. Joshua Palmer had 78 yards receiving. That's what they led them. And Quentin Johnson had a receiving touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, he was 24 of 37 for 210 yards, one touchdown, no pick. Isaiah Pacheco had 55 yards rushing, no rushing touchdowns. Travis Kelsey led them in receiving with 45 yards rushing. I mean, 45 yards receiving. Um, I know what you're going to say about the. I know what you're going to say about the Chiefs. They keep playing these close games. They keep playing these close games. I think you're looking at them in their comfort zone with these close games, and I think that's the scary thing about them. Somebody going to have to put them in a situation they don't want to be in to beat them. You know, like and it's hard to see it because teams have put up points. They match the points. Teams have looked like they've had control of this offense, which is true until situationally they're figuring out exactly how to get those third downs, get those yards, get those field goals to keep it close, get the touchdowns when they need it. You know, they end up getting that stop that they needed. It's not. This is also a very good team. When we were talking about, we were talking about the Vikings in terms of team wins and what it is. This is the ultimate example of that, man. And I feel like this is me. I feel like people keep poking the bear, and the Chiefs are going to respond to you come playoff time. That's my thought when it comes to them. But I know what you're going to say, and you're absolutely right. If it was anybody else, I would say I don't like what I'm seeing here because you just 19 points in the NFL game is not really a lot, and it was really 16 except for last like 3 seconds. So 16 points in an NFL game is not enough. They 10-1, bro. Like they're 10 and I mean they lost one game. One.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. That's all I got to say about this. The Chargers, I don't believe in them. I do believe they do have the formula though to disrupt somebody. They have the quarterback. They have the running game.
Well,
They have the pass rushers. Like they could do it. I just don't believe the Chargers yet. So that's just that. But go ahead. You had the rest of
yeah.
the time actually.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think you make a great point.
Slowly.
I
Sorry.
with the Chiefs, they're comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? This is exactly where they want to be in those tight games. When you've been good for so long, um, blowing teams out, I don't think it keeps it. I think this type of football, these close games, keeps it interesting for the Chiefs. Gets them through each week to week. They're in these tight games. Mahomes loves the pressure. Again, comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, and then the clock management, man, is unbelievable. You see these guys at the end of the game. There's 6 minutes left on the clock. They don't want to give the ball back to the other team. You better believe they're going to methodically drive down that field and waste every minute of that clock to kick a game-winning field goal
They know
or
how to
touchdown.
do it. And
They
that's
did
what I'm that's the
it
crazy
so
thing.
many times. Yeah,
These are ugly games, man. This is not the Chiefs that were there last year. It's not the Chiefs that were there 3 years ago. This is a different team. They are playing this way. They're a physical, grind it out, figure out a certain matchup throughout the game, exploit it right when the time is right, beat you that way.
veteran team,
Yeah, yeah, man.
veteran team. Know how to win these close games. Know how to manage the clock. Coaching, players, all veterans. They're a problem.
It's just so crazy. All right, you know what? We're gonna start the picks. We got a couple minutes. We're gonna start a pick. We're gonna go into week 15 picks, and we'll try to get it so we get more time for the segments when you start talking there. I'm gonna give you more time to talk, man. You know what I'm saying? So 15 games to watch. Bucs Chargers. A lot on the line with both of them teams. Who you got?
Bucs.
I'm actually gonna go Chargers. I don't believe in the Bucks. Yep, that quick. After
Yeah,
all of that, I still think they're gonna lose, and I don't know. That's why I said I don't know about the Falcons being done. Because I don't believe in the Bucks either. Look, that's a good pick though. I'm not saying it's not. That's not a bad pick. You've had worse.
yeah. I like the Chargers that pick too. It could go either way.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
knew I knew you were gonna take Chargers after what you just said about them, so I went Bucks.
You think you know me now? That's what you're saying. Um,
Talking about them being a force, so
whatever. Uh,
mm-hmm.
Colt. Okay, so this is my Colts. This is the game of the year. Colts Broncos. Both teams coming
What a
off a bye.
disappointment. What a disappointment the Colts are.
Don't talk about my team like that, okay?
They're a disappointment.
With that hat on, don't you talk about my team like
They're a
that?
disappointment.
Whatever. All right.
I had them winning the division this year.
I didn't think we was going to division, but this is pretty much where I'm like, we got an interesting thing. But I'm rolling with my Colts. Don't think I'm saying nothing else. I'm
Who are
rolling
they
with my
playing?
Colts.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Where are
Who
we
they
playing?
who are they playing?
The Broncos.
Oh, Broncos.
No, we got something. We got something talked about. We got something to show y'all about this.
Nope.
Uh,
Nope. Broncos.
you got us messed up. All
Yeah.
right. All
That
right.
defense, Bo Nix, the way he's developed under Sean Payton. Sean Payton develops quarterbacks.
And watch what happens. You heard it here first. So we're gonna talk about that on Sunday. Don't you worry about that.
Let's put a side bet on it now.
What you want to do on it?
It'll be a nice $20 bet.
Deal. Okay. And you gotta put a note, Tariq. You are a beautiful man. Here's your 20. You were right again. And
All
I
right.
rhyme that too, just to let you
All
know.
right. Fair enough.
Okay, $20. Say less.
$20.
All right. Bills Lions. Might be the game of it. That might be something right there. Bills Lions. Who you got?
Mm. Where's it at?
Bills Lions is
I wonder what the
it's
spread
in
is.
it's in Detroit.
Wonder what the spread is on that game. Do you know? Do you have that in front of you?
No, but I also only got a minute before we gotta exit this one. So I'm gonna give you my quick pick. I'm going
Yeah.
with the Bills on this one.
Okay. I'm going with the Lions.
I'm going with the Bills on this one.
Going with the Lions.
Josh ain't dropping two back to back. Watch
Josh
it.
not gonna get a chance to touch the ball.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Steelers, Eagles. Who you got?
I like the Steelers.
I'm gonna roll with the Eagles just because you said the Steelers. I'm gonna
Nice.
roll with you see.
Crazy. What's crazy is I'm taking the Steelers because I had no faith in the Steelers coming into this season, and they continue to win. They continue to find ways. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I didn't see this one coming. I didn't see this one coming.
Nope.
And finally, real quick, Packers, Seahawks, real quick. I'm going Packers.
Uh, yeah, Pack. That's the only one we'll agree on. Lions are a 1.5 point favorite.
Oh, this is going to click off in like probably like 10 seconds. But we did get through that. So now we got more time for
There
you
you
to
go.
talk, baby. Next segment. Me and you. Let it do. What it do.
There you go.
Even before we get started here, because you're about to drop off. You about to tell us your playoff picks, who's some dark horses, like who's gonna play in Super Bowl, who's winning. You about to drop all that off. I just want you to know my personal barometer or barometer for who I'm looking at to say this is who's going to go like win the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
okay. So my Super Bowl winning team's attributes. I like now Patrick Mahomes and ruined this first one already. But I like the quarterback to be a top 10 quarterback making less than 13% of the team salary cap. I know that's like a weird thing, like why 13%? Because before Patrick Mahomes, the only quarterback that won the Super Bowl when they made 13% was Tom Brady. Everybody else made less than 13%. And I mean every single last one of them. of the team's salary cap. So Patrick Mahomes get like 18% and he still wins Super Bowls. I don't get that. But this is what I like to see. Top 10 quarterback making less than 13% of the salary cap. Uh Ironically speaking, not having a top 5 wide receiver. I think when you have a top 5 wide receiver, it gives the defense says you're not going to try to beat me not throwing him the ball, and it gives the defense an advantage, a real kind of heavy advantage against you because you're not trying to win this game without giving him the ball.
Right.
So they know how to game plan for you a little bit more. Also like a top 10 pass rush. I would caveat that more I feel more confident the more pass rushers you have. So a team that has like two legitimate pass rushers in this, now I'm like, all right, I can see it clearer, but a top 10 pass rush. And an offensive line that's either like top 10 or at least is going to that is going to gel around pretty much right about now. So for instance, I remember like when the Packers won their Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, their offensive line wasn't very good, but it ended up gelling, because of continuity. They had been together a while, they knew what to do, they just didn't get it together, but at the end of the year they did. So that's my Super Bowl winning attributes.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Definitely, um, quarterback, quarterback. I would say top 10 quarterback. The trenches are always important, and a solid defense.
Okay, cool. So with that said, we got. Oh, I'm about to brand this. You ready?
Mhm.
The sideline pick with Nick Wick. And I called you Nick Wick. Legend. What you think? I'm Brandon Genius. That's right. Touchdown. Sorry, y'all. It's a little late. That's what that's about. All
All
right,
right.
tell me.
What am I telling you? What are we
So
doing
who's
here?
who's going to be in the playoffs? Like you go NFC, you can start AFC, but who's going to the playoffs? NFC. Start with NFC or AFC. Doesn't matter which one.
All the playoffs. All the teams from each side.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right. NFC playoffs. Lions,
Mm-hmm.
Eagles,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lions, Eagles, Vikings,
Okay.
Packers,
Okay.
Rams,
Okay.
Seahawks. All right, no,
Now that couldn't happen because you
that
put two
can't happen.
teams. You put two. No, that could happen. That could
That
technically
could still
happen.
happen.
That could still
Yeah,
happen. You're right.
and then the Bucs. Or no,
Bucks.
see, shit, because I think the Rams. All right, here you go. Lions, Eagles, Rams,
Mm-hmm.
Vikings, Packers, Commanders,
Okay.
and then Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it is.
Okay. Cool. So Lions, Eagles,
Rams,
Rams,
Bucks,
Bucks,
Vikings,
Vikings, and Packers. Oh no, no
Packers, Commanders.
Packers.
Vikings, Packers, Commanders.
Okay. Okay.
That's seven.
Okay. Cool. 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 All right. What about the AFC?
Chiefs, Bills, Steelers,
Okay.
Texans,
Okay.
Ravens,
Okay.
Broncos, Dolphins.
Come on, man. Can we? 'Cause you see, first of all, see if you take the hat off, you can think better. You see that's the problem. It's taking away all the oxygen to your brain, so that you can't. You didn't hear what you said. You see, that's okay.
Oh, I heard. I heard. You want
You
me to
didn't. You
repeat it?
didn't hear what you said.
I heard. Dolphins, Chiefs. I'll go in order from the best to the best. I'll start with the best teams making the playoffs.
Hmm.
Dolphins, Chiefs,
The best teams, Dolphins won. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
Dolphins, Chiefs,
Hmm.
Bills, Steelers,
Hmm.
Texans, Ravens, Broncos.
So no Chargers, and they had 8-5, and still no Chargers.
I know. I think the Chargers have to get in. I have to take out the Broncos and put the Dolphins in.
Damn, that's crazy. You know,
That's what happens if your pick is right this week. Chargers beat the Broncos. Broncos skid. Dolphins sneak in.
no, the Broncos. It will be the Colts beating the Broncos, and the
Okay.
Chargers. The Chargers are going to. Who'd you say? You said the Chargers. You picked the Chargers to win, right? No, you picked them to lose. I'm
No.
picking the Chargers.
Yeah, I picked the Bucs. Is it the Bucs versus
The
the Bucs
Falcons. The
versus Chargers?
Falcons. It was the
Right?
Falcons. The Chargers are playing the Falcons this week.
No. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have picked the Falcons.
Okay, so then yeah. So then if the Colts win and and then the Chargers win, then
There it is.
I think that's pretty much it for your Dolphins, sir.
But they're not. So
Well,
Dolphins find a way to get in.
it's okay. I have no idea why you sticking with this Dolphins pick. I'm actually looking. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm on NFL.com and I'm looking at the playoff predictors, and the Dolphins have a 13% chance.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We started the episode off by saying when you start listening to analysts,
I didn't listen to it, and they gave me the percent chance of like all like the likelihood of all the events that have to happen for the Dolphins to make the playoffs. That is 13% likely. That's
all
not
right,
the
so
answer.
you're telling me all the teams on the bubble right now in the hunt, I like in the hunt better,
Okay.
which are the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals. None of them make the playoffs.
Um. Okay. So the Bengals and the Dolphins are not going to make the playoffs. No. The Colts.
Oh, what the
Some things
Colts
have
are?
to. The Colts have something has to happen for that to
Ah,
happen. So
take off your Colts
I'm
underwear.
leaving some room for it to maybe happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I am saying that is more likely to
You
happen.
got Colts undershirt on.
If we run the table, right? So the Broncos is the last
What's
hard
their
team we have.
percentage? What's their percentage of win getting in?
27%.
I actually picked them to be in the playoffs this
So
in the beginning of the season.
so
But
all I'm saying is if we beat the Broncos, right?
right,
I'm gonna tell you the rest of the Colts
you
schedule.
won't. You won't though.
We are listen, you're
Okay.
gonna send me my 22. I just want you to know.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna send
And
me
my
that
note.
20.
And my note. So
I don't got cash
if we beat the
baby
Broncos,
either.
so like if we beat the Broncos, right? Then we got the Titans, the Giants, and the Jags. Okay? Keep okay?
Who say that again? Titans,
Titans, uh actually
Jags.
the Giants and the Jags.
Oh, that's an easy schedule.
I'm aware. So if we beat them, there's a chance. Now the Broncos, if they lose, they got the Chargers next week, they got the Bengals the week after that, then they got the Chiefs. You tell me if we beat them that we can't get into the playoffs. And all I'm saying is I'm expecting us to beat them. That's all I'm saying. Now if that
You got
happens,
so wait a minute. So do you guys have to win out to get in? Because you could potentially lose or what have you played them this season? I'm sure you have. So did you
no,
guys lose to them earlier in the season?
no, this is the first time that
So
they
all right.
so the winner of this has a tiebreaker.
Either way. Oh, winner of this has the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So the Broncos win this game, which they will. Do the Colts still have a chance to get in?
No. Because they would have the
No?
tiebreaker and they would have they're already 2 games ahead of us. So if we beat them, they'll be 1 game ahead of us, and we have a tiebreaker. So then they would have to lose again, and we couldn't lose. So we can't lose again. For all intents and purposes, we in the playoffs right now. Because next time we lose, we go home.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, you're not getting it.
Yeah, you a hater, yeah. All
Mm.
right. Um,
All right, here's the Dolphins' remaining schedule.
I don't even want to hear it. It doesn't matter.
Houston
Loss,
and Fran,
loss.
both teams are a mess.
Oh my goodness.
Cleveland Jet.
You might be Cleveland. Where's the hold on that Cleveland game? Where's it at? If it's in Cleveland, I'm counting that as a loss.
It's in Cleveland.
Loss. Too cold. Loss. I heard at least two losses there.
All right, hold on. All right, I'll give you my playoffs. Ready? Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Ravens, Chargers, Broncos.
That's about that's at least respectable, okay? That's something I can at least say, all right, he's taking it seriously. So there's that. Okay. All right. So now you gave us your NFC and AFC playoffs.
Uh-huh.
Who are give me if you got one, give me one. If you got more than one, let me know. The
Okay.
dark your dark horse team. Some teams that can cause a real disruption in this whole predictability situation and they could take this, you know?
Mm, I don't think this team could take this, but they're definitely going to be a disruptor if they get in, and that's the Broncos. And the main reason, again, is that defense wins championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they always say. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they'll win a championship, but they got that quarterback that's on a rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's developed very well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton knows how to develop quarterbacks. I mean, look what he's done for Jameis Winston's career, just keeping him in the league and performing at the level that he's performing this year is impressive. Totally turned that team around.
Okay.
They should have made that move earlier in the season, but I digress. Um, and what's wild is it reminds me of Cortland Sutton and Michael Thomas. That they remind me of the same
Interesting. That's a
exact.
good pull right there.
I mean,
That's a
they
good pull right
they
there.
they remind me exactly. They remind me of like that Saints offense. Um,
That's a good pull.
just just I think Bo Nix. He could run. He can use his legs, which is an
Mhm.
advantage. Which in the past couple of weeks, he hasn't done as much because
I
I think
got you. I got you. I got
he's
you.
becoming more comfortable as a passer. So I do like the Broncos. I do like them to be a disruptor in the AFC. And then I don't necessarily think this team's a dark horse. I'm at I don't know if you would consider this team a dark horse, but again, I got to give credit where credit's due, and I got to pick the Steelers.
That's gonna be one of my picks too.
Yeah,
That's gonna be listen, they have a game in them that puts even if they play the Chiefs, they got a game that it doesn't look far fetched. That basically says we can go toe to toe with the Chiefs. I don't think they're scared of the Chiefs. Now, will they win it? I don't know. But I don't think the Steelers are the team that's going to be afraid to play the Chiefs. And I think they have the recipe to beat them.
yeah, they're not a team that's going to get blown out.
Now, hold on.
You
Let me
know what I
let me even
mean?
say this. Let me say this. They're more of a team that I think that can beat the Chiefs in the AFC more than the Bills.
Interesting. I can see that.
Like I think you
What's
said
your reasoning behind that? But
so
I
the Bill
agree.
okay, so the Bills have the same problem that they've still had, even when they had a completely different offense. They have no pass rush. Like they have no player on that defensive line that says I got to account for him, or he's or like this might be 4 sacks. It's not the pressure is not going to be there, and I think that will catch up to them. That's what I think will be the undoing of the Bills. Somebody's just going to be able to score enough points at the right time because that pass rush ain't really there. It ain't like that, you know.
That's what the Rams did this past week. They just
So
outscored. You got to score 44 points, but
yes,
you can
yes,
outscore them.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like it when teams have blatant problems like that. I don't like those teams.
Right.
So that's my rationale.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Steelers have T.J. Watt.
What's wild? What's yeah, yeah. I got TJ Watt, and again, a team that I thought would not make the playoffs. They just continue to prove me wrong. So I think they're a solid team. And you think about it, like how many games can Josh Allen do what he did this past week, where he rushes for 3 touchdowns, throws for 2, or throws for three,
But
rushes for
Josh Allen
three.
actually can do that. He's been doing that. Like
Yeah, but, like
that's the
you
problem. You
know,
can't be so reliant on Josh Allen to be that person. But Josh Allen's been doing that. Like that's 300
yeah, but
yards, 2 touchdowns, 80 yards rushing,
like you
a
said
rushing touchdown.
in the playoffs, so you game plan for that.
Yes.
You
Yes.
game plan for that. You
So
can
their
put
points
up
come
points,
down.
and you if you put up points and you can game plan for Josh Allen, it's going to be a problem
Yes.
for the Bills.
Yes, absolutely. So we're cool with that. All right, and I'll give you one. I
Mm-hmm.
got one disruptive team in. No, actually, I got two disruptive teams in the NFC too. First, I'm going back with the
No,
Rams.
we're talking. No,
Okay.
no, no. Let's stay in the AFC. Who are
Okay.
your
Oh, you got
disruptors
another
in the
team in the
AFC?
AFC? That's a lot of
No,
disruption in the
I'm
AFC.
asking who yours are.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. I didn't give you. All right, so I really only have like legitimately, I really only have the Steelers.
Okay, okay,
Now I'll say it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's going that way. But like I said, if there was a team that if I believed in their culture,
right.
the Chargers would be the team that I would be looking at also. But
Oh,
but their culture is so they have the quarterback, they got the running game, they got pass rushers, Joey Bosa, and they got Khalil Mack. Their defense is they're like what are they like? They're top five in sacks. Their offensive
mhm.
line
Yeah,
rankings, if I believe on
great
PFF,
second.
was at
Yeah,
least
yep.
top 10. It might have been 11. Um, Now their wide receivers are, I would say, below average. Like I think that's a little bit more of a stretch, but that would be the team. But I'm not going to speak too much on that because that's it. But the Steelers, I legitimately feel like
What's the
they're
deal with
very good.
J.K. Dobbins?
He's out for
Yeah,
the
do
year.
you know what's up with J.K. Dobbins?
He's out for the year.
Oh, he is.
He's out.
That hurts him.
Yes, it does.
That hurts them big time.
It does. But like, I don't believe in the coach. I think Harbaugh
I'd
made
be a
that
little bit
off
more.
season.
I'd be a little bit more on board.
I get
Yeah,
it.
I'd be a little bit more on board with him if he was healthy.
I got you. No problem. But the Steelers is my answer. Now, because I already said the answer, I'll just tell you my NFC teams, and I have two. The Rams. They may not even make the playoffs. If they get in the playoffs, um, they potentially would be playing either like the Eagles, the Seahawks, maybe the Vikings, something like that. And I think all of them kind of want to avoid that team. Uh, so the Rams, they may not even make the playoffs, but if they get in
Hmm.
the playoffs, that's a scary ass team right there. Okay. Um, and for me, the
Hmm.
other team that I like, and they're probably going to be in the playoffs, and they could still disrupt something. The Packers. Um, as you said, Reed got to get he got to get more involved in the offense and stuff like that. But if that happens, I love Josh Jacobs and what he's doing. I love what they got going on with their defense. Um, do I think they win the Super Bowl? No. Do they disrupt something? They can go somewhere and beat somebody. I'm telling you that right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll start off with the Rams as well. Like I said earlier, they're a team that plays to their competition, right? So whoever they see in the playoffs, they're going to match up with.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be able to put up points. They're going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever they see when they match up with a team like the Bills, they come to play, and that's and they've shown that
And
time.
then they'll play Jacksonville, and then be like,
Yeah,
"How's going on?"
yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
with you. I'm with you.
Uh, then my other team would be. I think they're also a team that could make it to the Super Bowl if all goes right for them. They got the two-headed monster, Addison, I talked about earlier again. He's come on. So you got that passing attack. If Sam Darnold can play to the caliber that he played last week, he's going he can carry that team. Not carry that team, but he can do enough for that team to get to where they need to be. Aaron Jones stays healthy. They got their running game. Um, and then you got a defense that's not a huge fan of the defensive coordinator for obvious reasons with the Dolphins, but
Brian
he you know,
Flores. Brian Flores.
yeah, Brian Flores, yeah, but he's a he's a decent defensive coordinator. So, uh, and they're a team that does the thing.
Did that hurt? Did that hurt?
Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
Oh no. Oh no. He's has a very good defense. He's a very good defense coordinator.
Yeah, yeah.
My problem with the Vikings, no matter who they play. Now, if he played like he did Sunday, okay. The problem is every time that they play somebody in the playoffs, they're gonna have the worst quarterback, in my opinion.
Mm.
That is going to, I think that definitely catches up with him. I definitely feel as though Sam Darnold is definitely playing out of his mind. I'm proud of him. I'm happy to see him doing that. But I'm not gonna act like he putting together four straight games of, I mean, that is not what I'm betting on.
Here's why I would. The
Ooh.
last 2 to 3 weeks, Jordan Addison has played to what? He's played to the level. He's played at the level that everybody thought he would be at
He's playing great.
this season. Playing great. So if you have somebody like that on the opposite end of the double coverage or the triple coverage that Jefferson's going to see on a play-to-play basis,
Mm-hmm.
and Aaron Jones can run the ball, I
Yeah,
think they got
but
something
like
there.
but
Now, hold on. Now you say he's going to be the worst quarterback. Geno Smith better than him?
okay. So I'll give you Sam Darnold over Geno Smith, but that's very close.
Okay. Jaden Daniels, if Commanders make playoffs.
Yeah, have you seen Jane Daniels? I think like don't forget he was throwing for like 85% completion
Rookie.
percentage this year. You're right. You're right. But he threw for
He's a
85%.
rookie.
85% completion. Like for like a month straight. For like a month straight. 85%. That's
Now, 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 granted, 85% is great. It's good. Granted, he was a little bit banged up, but he did have a month where he didn't play too well. So it could be
yes.
like the rookie inconsistency. I don't know.
Yes. But so you're saying right now I'm looking at it through a talent standpoint. The trajectory of Jaden
Oh
Daniels
yeah,
is
talent
is
for sure.
much higher than Sam Darnold.
Agreed. Agreed. But
And he showed, and I'm saying, does he have that game in him again? I don't have a reason to think Jaden Daniels doesn't have that game in him again. Not like does he have it three straight times? No. Does he have it one time in the playoffs? I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I think Sam Darnold, that game he had last week, he can pull out of his hat
All
again.
right, so let me say it like this. Let me word it like this. If the Vikings had Jayden Daniels, I would feel better about them going into the playoffs. That's exactly how I feel.
Oh, mm,
He's
yeah,
more
maybe.
dynamic, and they're not asking Sam Darnold to do crazy things or carry him
But
around.
I think Sam Darnold fits the scheme of the Vikings, just like Kirk Cousins did.
I think Jayden Daniels could do the same thing.
I don't know. I don't know. He's gotten better as a passer as the years gone on, but he's not. I don't think he's like a pocket quarterback that they're
Okay,
looking for
okay. So now
that scheme.
I flipped it one way. Now let's flip it back. How would you feel about the Commanders if they had Sam Darnold as their quarterback?
Oh, terrible,
That is why
terrible.
I'm saying I'm saying if you ask me about Jane Daniels and Sam Darnold, I'm saying I would I would lean towards Jane Daniels right now.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Did you have the Niners getting in?
No,
No.
they're done. They're done. And this is and
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you said that because everybody was popping off at the mouth about Brock Purdy too, saying he was the next great thing. And And I kept trying to tell people he was that good because of the team around him. Like sometimes it's hard to
Mhm.
tell in the moment, but some of these quarterbacks, they're good enough, but they're not great. As soon as people started getting hurt and everything started looking like something, and you needed Brock Purdy to carry you, they were like, he can't do that even a little bit.
That's so. I think he has great poise in the pocket. I think he fits that scheme very, very well. But you're
He has great
absolutely
poise
right.
in the pocket.
Asked him, when they asked him to carry the team, and they got away from the run this season, that's when their records started to
No,
falter.
like even when they were still, if you remember, they had running backs. They still had Isaac. Can't say his
They
last name
had
for
running
his name.
backs, but they weren't
They still, but
running.
they still
They
had
weren't.
running backs, and they still were doing it. The offensive line just was hurt. It just wasn't as good. The wide receivers were hurt.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like the defense got injured, and player and teams put up more points. He wasn't comfortable in that situation of things falling apart. If you telling me somebody got to get top of the league money, they gonna have to carry some shit, and a lot of shit's not gonna go
yeah.
right. And this ship still got to go for it without it. Lamar Jackson does it all the time. From time to time, Jalen Hurts even does it. Um, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Like you have to do that, and I'm sorry that seems unfair to him. Jared Goff did it, and I don't think he's great.
With who? Who Jared Goff do it with?
Detroit right now.
He's carrying that team.
That defense is in. Listen to me. The amount of injuries that have happened to that defense is outlandish. They're getting like five
Yeah, but
decent. They're getting like five starters back this week that they didn't have for the last
yeah, but
month.
he's got so many
I
weapons on that
get it.
offense.
I that what I'm saying is he was put in a situation where if he don't put up 30, they probably gonna lose.
Yeah, but we're talking about
What
uh
30?
we're talking
30
about
or we
Brock Purdy.
lose?
We're talking about Brock Purdy putting that offense on his back
No, what I'm saying
with
is
with a ton of injuries. We're not Jared Goff's not seeing a ton of injuries and putting that
no,
offense on
what
his
I'm
back.
saying is if the Detroit Lions a couple of these games, if they would have scored 28 points, they would have lost a couple of these games. They did not lose these games that they had no choice but to go into the 30s
Yeah.
to beat people.
Hey, listen. Jared Goff's been amazing this year.
What do you want him to do?
He's been
He's
awesome.
got talent. I'm not saying that, but what do you
Yeah.
want him to do?
But I think if you put Purdy in that offense, he can do the same thing.
Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't even. I don't even have a second thought about that. And you're gonna
Hmm.
see it. We're gonna have this conversation in the middle of the year next year. You're gonna be like, all right, Brock Purdy, he may not have it because they're losing some of these pieces now. Just to let you know to pay Brock Purdy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
He can't, if he loses the pieces, he can't carry that offense.
and that's what's
But
going to happen.
that Jared Goff has those pieces. That's what I'm saying. If you put Purdy in that offense, he can do what Goff is
All
doing
right,
right
if you say so. All right, cool. So tell me who's going to the Super Bowl and who's winning it.
now. Who's going to the Super Bowl and who's winning it?
If you would like, I'll
Lions.
tell you mine. But
No, I'll go first.
okay,
Uh,
I've already put mine out there. So that,
Dolphins, Lions, Dolphins win.
jeez Louise, take the hat off. Take the
Ah!
hat off. We, I don't have any time for this nonsense right now.
All right. Lions, Lions, Ravens.
Lions Ravens. Interesting.
Yep.
All right, so who you got winning it?
I got the Lions.
Mm.
I like the Lions. I like the Lions because I think they're the most complete team right now.
Okay.
I think,
Um.
if their defense can hold up a little bit, I think with that running game,
Mhm.
if you got that, I think that running game is really going to carry them through the playoffs.
Okay.
Uh, they're not going to ask Jared Goff to do too much. But when they do ask him to do it, I think he is going to be able to deliver.
Okay. All right. So I don't have either one of those teams there. And to
But
be real with you, depending on who they play, the Ravens might lose round one, depending on who they play.
to be honest, I really didn't know who to pick on that side, and I just made that decision
That's fair.
right off the top.
Um, so my
That
Super
really,
Bowl.
and really, it's because I didn't want to pick the Chiefs.
That's okay.
That's
That's okay.
that's that's the main reason. Like
Yeah,
it really should
I
be.
felt that. I felt that. And well,
Yeah,
guess surprise, surprise. I'm picking the Chiefs in the Super to get to the Super Bowl still.
yeah, yeah. It probably would have been them. I just didn't want to pick them,
Yep.
and I
Yep. They're
picked the
going to get
Ravens
to the
off
Super
the top.
Bowl, and they're actually gonna play the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Oh, a
Um,
rematch.
yeah, yeah. So the thing that the Eagles have that Detroit does not have, and it's one thing, and you said it. If they got Aiden Hutchinson back, then we'd be having a
Hmm.
different conversation. The
Yeah.
Eagles have a defensive line that I am looking at. I'm saying, wow, they're playing. N'Kobe Dean is playing well. Um, Jalen Carter is playing well. Like their defensive line, they have pieces on defensive line. I'm like, I can see it. I can see where this pass rush is going to come from. Um, the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. I'm saying the same thing. The same answer. The same carbon answer I have about the Bills. I have about the Lions. This pass rush, man. Like it's they gonna have to do something against somebody. Somebody gonna say you can't stop me, you can't get to me, and then they're gonna have to overcompensate to deal with it. I see that coming. Um, but I'm about to surprise you. Winner of the Super Bowl is gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you think I was going to pick? You know the Chiefs is going with three Pete. You know the Chiefs is going 3 point. The funny thing is, you know it's about to happen, and you just don't like it. That's why you said the
Mm,
Ravens getting to the Super Bowl. You overcompensated. See, you showed
yeah.
your hand. You don't want to admit it, but you know what's about to happen.
Yeah. And 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 I like the Eagles to make the Super Bowl more than the Lions, but I really want to see the Lions in there, and I really want to see the Lions win it.
Wouldn't hate to see the
So I'm
Lions
not I'm not basing any of my decisions off of being a real analyst. I'm basing it off of what I want to see.
for what you wanted. Sounds exactly like you. Sounds like the
Yeah,
thing I
yeah.
know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I just
Because
wanted it. I
let's
just
be
wanted
real,
it.
the Eagles in the trenches, amazing, right? That defensive line, that offensive line, Saquon Barkley, that running game, uh, you know, um, and then you got that defense is finally gelled. It just took some time,
Hmm.
but when who's the defensive coordinator? Can't remind me. He was Dolphins defensive coordinator last year.
Oh, I'm not gonna
Uh,
get the name. Keep talking.
shit.
Keep talking.
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, like once his defense is gel and they learn the defense, um, even with Tua injured last season and then playing Bills in the first round of playoffs, that defense kept them in the game with a third string quarterback.
Vic
So,
Fangio.
you know, God,
Uh-uh.
thank you.
I
His
know.
reputation for carrying
For
for
carrying defenses. I know.
defenses, them there.
Yeah, I got you. I
Hmm.
got you. Vic Fangio.
Um, they just can't ask they just can't ask Jalen Hurts to throw the ball to win the game.
No, and actually I don't want him to throw the ball more than about 28 times. That's it. That's all I want to see him
Nope.
do.
Yeah.
Um,
And I know there's been a lot of talk lately with the Eagles and like how they got to get that passing game going. And I'm like, for what? You know,
I
for
think that's a
what? What do you
beautiful
need to get
problem to
that pat?
have. I think that's a
Yeah,
beautiful
I
problem to
mean,
have. With those two wide receivers, you mean you can't get I would be willing to bet that that gets put together.
yeah, but for what? Like, at that point, you're nitpicking.
Yeah, and
Uh,
honestly, and to be real with you, in any other era against any other team, I would feel like the Eagles would win. I don't know how to explain why the Chiefs.
he's
It don't make sense, man. This don't make sense. I know,
it don't, it don't at all.
but they do it. But
Hmm.
that was good, man. I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna wrap this up. You got any last minute thoughts and stuff? How would you think about my branding? Yeah, I mean, I branded your segment real quick.
Yeah, do some work on that.
Listen, man, I think you're underselling what just happened there. That was pretty magical. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm about to get crazy ratings off of that.
Yeah, you might want to do some work on that one.
I gave
Think
you
it over a
alliteration.
couple
I gave
times.
you a rhyme scheme. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I think you're hating a little.
Fins up, baby. Fins up.
Boy. All right. On
We'll
that
see
note.
it. We'll see you in the playoffs.
On that note, hold on, let me wrap it up. Let me wrap this up.
Hey,
So
real quick, though, when the Colts lose this week, make sure you Zell me. I don't have cash, baby. I don't want you to email me a check or send mail me a check.
you definitely get the
You
check.
know,
You know why
I
you
want
getting the check?
$20 immediately in my account.
You getting
I
the
don't,
check. You wanna know why you getting the check? Because you called it cash baby. That's
yeah,
why you get the check.
I don't got that app. All right.
With that said, we're gonna wrap this up. Of course, you know you can catch our full episodes on Spotify, YouTube. Catch our reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We all over the place. Nick, bro, you did your thing today, man. I'm gonna tell you. Even with that hat on, you did your thing. But I still gotta tell you, cuz you don't know football. Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. You already know. You always welcome back, man. Don't stay away too long.